Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Woodworth Buddhist Temple's virtual Dharma service. As usual, we'll begin the service with chanting of the Bandhana and Tisarana. This is found on page 7 in your red service book. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. The reading for today comes from the sentences from the Dhammapada, number 1. All that we are is a result of what we have thought. It is made up of our thoughts. If a man speaks or acts with a pure thought, happiness follows him like a shadow that never leaves him. He abused me, he beat me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who do not harbor such thoughts, hatred will cease. For hatred is not overcome by hatred. Hatred is overcome by love. This is an ancient rule. Those who mistake false for true and true for false, their abode is wrong-mindedness. These arrive not at the truth. Those who know true as true and false as false, their abode is right-mindedness. These arrive at the truth. As rain gets into an ill-thatched house, so craving gets into an ill-trained mind. As rain gets not into a well-thatched house, so craving gets not into a well-trained mind. Earnestness is the path of immorality. Thoughtlessness, the path of death. Those who are in earnest do not die. Those who are thoughtless are as if dead already. Having understood this clearly, those who are advanced in earnestness delight in earnestness and rejoice in the knowledge of truth. These wise people, meditative, steady, always possessed of strong powers, attain to nirvana, the highest happiness. If an earnest person is well awake, if he is not forgetful, if his deeds are pure, if he restrains himself, then his glory will increase. By being well awake, by earnestness, by restraint and control, the wise man can make for himself an island which no flood can overwhelm. Earnest among the thoughtless, awake among the sleepers, the wise man advances like a racer, leaving behind the hack. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu. The sutra for today is Praises of the Buddha. This is found on page 112 of the Red Service book. Namanda, 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 Namanda. face shines in great splendor, boundless, wondrous dignity, such the greatness of your light, beyond all comparison, brightness of the sun and moon, and the shining many jewels, when compared to your brilliance, seem to us like blackest ink. Tathagata's countenance transcends all comparison. The great voice of awakening resounds through the 10 quarters. Your precepts, learning, effort, meditation, wisdom are virtues beyond all compare, ultimate, supreme, and rare. Your deep meditation has fathomed all the Dharma sea, to the limits and the depths of all things the Buddhas teach. Ignorance, anger, and greed, the world-honored one has none. Like a lion among men, measureless your great virtue, vast are your great virtuous deeds, wisdom deep and so sublime. Your radiant luminous light shakes all the world's foundations. When I become a Buddha, equal to the Dharma King, I will transcend birth and death, liberating all beings, my giving disciplined mind, precepts, patience, and effort, meditation and wisdom shall be supreme, unsurpassed. I will attain Buddhahood, everywhere fulfill my vow, bringing to all those in fear great peace and tranquility. Though there are myriad Buddhas, beyond measure, beyond count, and great sages numberless, like the grains of Ganges sands, I will honor each of them, equally accepting none. Even more importantly, I will seek the supreme way, even though all Buddha worlds are countless as Ganges sands, even though all lands and realms are boundless without measure, yet my light shall reach them all and illumine every place. Such shall be my perfect work, such my power infinite. When I attain Buddhahood, my land land will be first and best, place of practice transcendent, its people sublime and rare, land equal to nirvana, beyond all comparison, with pity for everyone, I will carry all across, all who come from 10 quarters, to be born into my land, to attain pure joyful mind, peace and great tranquility. Be my witness, Buddha, please confirm my sincerity. Now that I have made my vows, I will strive to fulfill them. Buddhas of the 10 quarters, with your wisdom unhindered, may all of these honored ones know my deepest intention, even though my body must bear great pain and suffering. I will persevere and strive patiently without regret. Nama, 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 The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namanda, 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 namanda. Dharma message for this morning will be delivered by Prudence Kusano, our president.
Good morning. My name is Prudence, and I have been a Shin Buddhist since I married into a Shin Buddhist family in 1971. I grew up in a Zen Buddhist family and regularly attended Sunday school until I left home for college. My husband and I did not attend services, nor were we members of any temple. In 1976, we lost our firstborn when he was 7 months old. His funeral was held at the Hawaii Betsuin, and we went to the temple every week for 49 days and held short memorial services. That was our beginning to return to the temple. One could say that our son led us back to the teachings. In 1978, we moved from Honolulu to Kailua. During this period, I worked together with Dorothy Ono and she encouraged us to become members of Kailua Honganji Temple, now referred to as Windward Buddhist Temple. When we began attending services, the temple had gone for long periods without an assigned minister. Despite not having a regular minister, the members still conducted services every Sunday. Mr. Kukino would conduct the service, and about 7 members volunteered to take turns giving the Dharma talk. Dorothy asked me to help out by being on the speaker rotation. Although I attended Sunday school as a child, I was not exposed to any serious Buddhist studies while in high school nor in college. Adult Dharma classes were not available while I was in high school in Kona. However, I accepted Dorothy's request as I thought it would direct me to learn about Shin Buddhism, so when I spoke, it made sense, to me anyway. I found much encouragement from the faces of the people as I spoke, and their reactions would tell me if I was making a connection. So I hope I am able to connect with you, even if I cannot see your reaction. This morning, I will share with you my understanding of the teaching and how I try to make it a part of my life. First, I will tell you about an aha moment. And second, I will tell you about what I learned at the Lay Convention last month. You know, the speakers at these conventions are very inspiring, and I try to apply what I had learned. Let me start by saying that one of my favorite recitations is the Golden Chain of Love, especially the part that goes, I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness and unhappiness, but also that of others. This part gives me courage and strength to keep trying to do better, because I can tell you I have many thoughts that are not pure and beautiful, especially these past few months in the pandemic. So much is going on in our country at this time, not only the pandemic, increasing incidents of racism, political issues, mass shooting, police violence, and currently the anti-vaxxers and so on. Lately, I am upset by those who choose not to be vaccinated. Many unvaccinated people are becoming ill from the new variant, and they end up in the hospital, whereas the vaccinated person who contracts COVID may most likely will not require hospitalization. You know, I think the virus needs a human being for its survival, so the unvaccinated person becomes a target for the virus. So as more people become vaccinated, eventually the virus will have no host left, and hopefully it will die. You know, I get especially upset about those who refuse the vaccination because they don't believe in science. And when they become ill, they go to the hospital. To me, it is science-based. I also get upset about people who refuse to allow their children to mask at schools, saying that it is their right not to have their children do that. However, at this time when the children are not eligible for any vaccine, to me, wearing the mask is the only thing that protects them. So in these cases, I do not have pure and beautiful thoughts about these adults or unvaccinated people. You know, oftentimes I tell myself not to think bad things about those who refuse to be vaccinated, but it continues to frustrate me. Then I read an article titled, Compassion Has No Enemy by Guo Gu. He is a Chan Buddhist teacher who wrote an article after the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting. He looked to understand the violence through the lens of the 3 poisons: greed, hatred, and ignorance. He uses hatred, and I prefer the word anger. This was my aha moment. I realized that what he talked about could apply to me. The 3 poisons, greed, anger, and ignorance, are causing me to be angry and frustrated about the anti-vaxxers. The author said, quote, "Wisdom is to be free from greed, hatred, and ignorance, which are the three root causes of vexation. Compassion is to act without opposition. To illustrate, he said, siding with those who agree with me is greed. Opposing those who don't agree with me and wishing they would go away is hatred. Not being able to see this mechanism is ignorance. In the case of the shooting, he said, people in the media referred to those who died as victims and the shooter as the perpetrator. Pity and sorrow were felt for the victims, and anger was felt towards the perpetrator. And this anger sometimes extended to condemning all those people that own guns. He said such mentality is not compassionate. Instead of blaming the shooter, the culprit is the three poisons that drive people to commit harmful acts. We should interpret what happened in the light of the three poisons and recognize how they govern our lives, our choices, and our experiences. We must feel great compassion for all beings under the control of the three poisons. Although I know the three poisons are greed, anger, and ignorance, I had a very narrow understanding of how they manifest itself. I mainly thought of greed in relation to accumulation of wealth and material things. I thought of anger as manifested by physical actions. And of course, I'm not even sure how I applied ignorance. But anyway, with these thoughts in mind, I applied the author's description of greed, anger, and ignorance to myself. I asked myself, am I being greedy by siding with those who agree with me? Yes, I am, because I side with those who are vaccinated and I join in the negative talk about the unvaccinated. I do not feel I need to take the time to understand the unvaccinated. Next question to myself. Am I angry at those who choose not to be vaccinated and wish they would go away? Yes, I am angry at them, and I get tired of hearing their point of view. I wish they would go away and live among themselves so they do not infect others. Lastly, I asked myself, am I ignorant because I'm not able to see this mechanism? Yes, but hopefully not anymore. The anti-vaxxers have to deal with their own greed, anger, and ignorance, just like me. Getting angry at them is not going to change the situation. Frankly, I don't think the anti-vaxxers care if I get angry at them. You know, it reminds me of a saying that goes, anger is like taking poison and hope that the other person will die. I am the only party taking the anger poison, and the anti-vaxxers are still around. So instead of getting angry, I will try to make an effort to listen to their concerns and see them as fellow human beings struggling with their own poisons. Instead of being angry, I will do what I can to remain healthy and avoid hospitalization. I will try to understand that the unvaccinated are not out to cause me harm. They are just trying to live their life in the best way they can, just like me. Going forward, I will try to expand my understanding of greed, to examine my actions to see if my choices that make me happy are not negatively impacting others. I will see if anger is involved when I avoid certain people and situations. I will try to be less ignorant and remember that the three poisons are always affecting me, and I need to make an effort to see the situation for what it is. So this leads me to share what I learned at the Lay Convention. Terry Omori of the Vista Buddhist Temple stated how they were able to grow their temple membership. They opened themselves to new people and made a strong effort to create a welcoming place for newcomers as well as current members. One of the things they did was to promote themselves. They asked themselves, one, who are the customers that are walking in through our doors? Two, what special products does the temple provide? And it is the Dharma and Shin Buddhism. Three, do they have good customer service by providing a comfortable, inviting place? And four, what about the retention of existing customers? She used the word customer, so I thought about our temple as a store, selling Dharma and Shin Buddhism, and all the members as part of the sales staff. People or customers visit the temple to learn about the Dharma and Shin Buddhism. Once they enter, the sales staff acknowledge and welcome them. They introduce themselves, invite them to sit, and if this is a first-time visit, they offer to sit with them to make them comfortable so they can listen to the Dharma. The customer hopefully enjoys the hospitality, the interest that's shown to them, and the Dharma message. They will then return for more of the same, just like a store. The temple will have a growing customer base and will be able to meet the mission of spreading the Dharma. In responding to the customer's needs, programs can be developed, which in turn may attract more diverse types of people who will enrich the Sangha. The Vista Buddhist Temple promoted themselves by considering these things, and their membership has grown and become more diverse. Then I wondered if the three poisons were influencing our ability to increase membership. I asked, are we being greedy to retain the status quo, not willing to include newcomers, especially if they are different than us? For example, they're not Japanese. Is ignoring the new face and not willing to approach them a form of anger, wishing that they would not sit next to me or cause me to make an effort to share the Dharma? Are we ignorant for not recognizing that we are benefiting from listening to the Dharma and being part of the Sangha, so we should encourage everyone who wants the same to be part of the temple, instead of bemoaning the fact that the membership is decreasing? Although my questions may be off base and may not apply, I am taking the opportunity to acknowledge that the three poisons are at work in everything I do. I do not have answers to these questions, but I sincerely believe that we need to face the reality of the decreasing membership and the need for the temple to continue to be the place to hear the Dharma and to spread Shin Buddhism. In conclusion, I want to state again that these are only my thoughts. I found a practical way to apply the concept of the three poisons in my life, and in doing so, I hope to generate pure and beautiful thoughts. I applied what I learned at the lay convention as another way to meet the challenge of increasing temple membership. And lastly, I am thankful for my son for leading me to the temple, and to Dorothy and the Windward Buddhist Temple members for welcoming me to join them on their Nembutsu path. How grateful I am. Thank you for listening. Namo Amida Butsu.
The gatha for today is each day anew, and this is followed by the Nembutsu.
Over life's land, there dawns evening when day is spent, and quiet the stars reappear, as even over life's sea, their light starry sky, the Buddha's great vow infuses me with a deepening serenity when I look back on the day and its sorrows and its joys. A wonderful vow, a wonderful life. My life each day grows in beauty. My life each day grows in beauty. The Buddha's great light infuses me with a bountiful vitality to do what day's duty calls, to my best and to my joy. A wonderful light, a wonderful life. My life each day is born anew. My life each day is born
Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. The lotus flower is not stained by the mud. This dewdrop form alone, just as it is, manifests the real body of truth. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, thank you very much for attending this virtual Dharma service, and hope to see you again next week, the same time, 9 a.m. Thank you. In the meantime, be well. Goodbye.